I really believe this is the most impactful lesson. I really do. Nick's is awesome yesterday. Big sets, I believe, is tomorrow. But I think that goal sharing is like literally puts a bow and ties it all together when you think about how a demo goes. Who here has done a demo where you showed up and you did the demo and you felt like at the end you said it was a practice appointment, but then it was like almost conflicting because it wasn't necessarily fully practiced? Has anyone felt like that? I know that I've felt like that. So how you can change someone's mindset of like, okay, like I'm really bought in, I'm going to buy something today, from, okay, I'm just showing up, like, let's grab the popcorn, let's just watch this thing, is all in your goal sharing. It's all in the way that you share your goals. Now, you may feel like, well, I don't really have that passionate of a goal. You can make your goals sound so extravagant, and you can buy and enroll your customer so quickly with the way that you talk about your goals and yourself. So I'm going to give you 5 points, and then I'm going to give you a resource of Jared Erickson's goal sharing from last year, where that guy sold like $130,000 his first 6 months. And I truly believe it was because of his goal sharing. But that's how powerful goal sharing can be. And I'll give you that resource at the end. But I'm going to give you 5 points. Okay. And this morning, really early, I was up and I thought of what these 5 things that I believe are. So number one, if you want to write this down, the number one thing, or the first thing, while you're goal sharing, or we're going to use red for Christmas, I guess, is share past success with Cutco. Okay. So if you're like, well, I'm brand new, I don't necessarily have a ton of success yet. Literally any success is enough. You could say that you've sold, yes, Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones, I started on Sunday and I'm already at, I've sold $450. Your customer really just doesn't have any perspective. So whatever success you have is enough for them to think, oh my gosh, this person is selling, people are buying. Now, if you're like, well, I haven't made a sale yet. Perfect. Share our office's success or our division success. Whatever the success is, just share success with Cutco. Okay. So that's the first part of your goal sharing, because it shows the customer that people are buying. You've probably heard before, right? Like, people love to cheer for the underdog. They do, but people also love to cheer for the top dog. And I would almost argue they like to cheer for them a little bit more, because when I think about NFL teams, I'm a huge NFL fan. I'm a diehard Vikings fan. That's a tough one to swallow most of the time. But when I think about what's my second favorite team right now, it's the Los Angeles Rams. Why? They have really cool jerseys and they're really good. Right? Now, the Dolphins have cool jerseys, but they're not good, so I don't cheer for them. What's my point is, it's easy to hop on the bandwagon. It's easy to cheer for the top dog. And so when you share with your customer that, hey, I started on Sunday, I've sold $1,100 so far. Our office is doing well. So far this year, we're at blank. And our division right now is the #1 division in all of Cutco. We've sold $8 million this year. What does your customer then think? Oh my gosh, people are buying. People are buying this stuff. That's awesome. If you were walking down the street, this is the last point I'll say with this, but if you were walking down the street and you saw 2 restaurants, one had a line out the door and one was completely empty, which restaurant would you probably eat at? Weirdly, the one that has the line out the door. Why? Because it's easy to hop on that band. The food must be good there. It's the same thing with your goals with Cutco. Okay. Is that making sense? Looking for some head nods and thumbs ups. So the first thing is share successes when you're talking about your goals. Okay. The second thing is share your current dollar amount goal. Okay. Oh, share. Oh, share current dollar amount goal. So whatever your dollar amount goal is right now. Now, if you're in your fast start, that's an easy one, right? Does everyone know their fast start goal? 3K, 6K, 10K, right? Whatever your fast start goal is, perfect. Share that. Now, if you're not in your fast start, you're like, well, I don't really have a dollar amount goal. Make one. Something I loved to do last year when I was selling during the school year was every time I went into a demo, I had a thermometer that was up to 2K. So every demo, this thermometer was 2K, and I'd say my goal for the week is $2,000, and here's why. And I'll talk about that in a second. But a compelling why with your dollar amount. There would be times that people would buy a 2,000. Oh no, Jenny Locke. She buys a $2,400 order, and after I'm closing it, whatever, she says this. She goes, "Yeah, and that filled your thermometer up, right?" And I was thinking, "What? You remember that?" Like, people remember what your dollar reason is, or what your dollar amount is, and they remember your reason why. So share your current dollar amount goal. Hey, Mrs. Jones, my goal in my fast start, I just started my fast start. My goal is $10,000 because blank. Okay, so this is the first sub point. My goal is $10,000 because blank. Okay, whatever your reason why is. And then here's a couple other sub points. What it means to you. What it means to you to hit that goal. What it gets you. And then how you'll feel is so important. So how it sounds so far is something like past success and then share current dollar amount. It'd be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, thank you again for seeing my presentation. Is it okay if I share some of my goals with you? Yeah, go ahead, share your goals. Now, you've already won a little bit of value in the customer wanting to buy today, because most people don't even have goals, right? So is it okay if I share some of my goals? All right, well, past success with myself or with the office. And my goal in my fast starts to sell $10,000. What it means to me to sell $10,000, why that's a big deal, is because 1% of Cutco reps in the history of the company hit it. And I want to be that top 1%. And in our office, we've had blank amount, ask your manager, of 10K fast starters this year. And I want to be the blank. I want to be the next. What I get is I get a trip to Cabo. I get to go to Cabo. No way, you get to go to Cabo, San Lucas? Yeah, the Cutco takes me to Cabo. I get a bunch of free Cutco, like $2,000. I get $1,000 of free Cutco basically. And at that point, I'll earn enough to blank. I'll earn enough to pay my student tuition this semester or something, whatever it gets you. And you can be totally open about that. And how I'll feel is accomplished. I'm going to be honest, Aunt Susie, I was never that great at sports or anything. Oh, you were so good. Whatever. But when I hit $10,000 in Cutco sales in my fast start, I'm going to feel like I can accomplish anything. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Number 3, share how hard you've been working. Share how hard you've been working. People respect hard work. Okay. And by the way, people want to people want to help people with big goals. When I see current dollar amount, there's this guy on Facebook, not Facebook, well, Cutco guy, his name is Cutco Mike Dowd. He's a Cutco sales professional. And since August, he's been on Facebook. He's got this Facebook group with all his customers. He's been around for like 20 years. He has all these customers, and he has this Facebook group that they're all in. And since August, he's been sharing his goal is to hit $1 million for the year. And when he first started sharing that, I was thinking, like, that's absurd. Only a couple people have ever done it, and he's not even close. He hit $1 million like 2 weeks ago because all of his customers hopped on this bandwagon of him selling $1 million in a year. And when he hit it, the post had like 400 likes, a couple hundred comments, and it was really cool. I was thinking, like, man, I wish I would have bought some stuff and been a part of that. People like to help people with big goals, is my point. Okay, share how hard you've been working. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I spent 15 hours in training for this. I've been working really hard. I've been doing X amount of appointments around my classes, around my finals, other job. I've just been working really hard. I've been getting up at 8 a.m. to go to this thing called Champs Club, and my last appointments have been at 9 p.m. at night. I've been kind of working around the clock. This is the first time in my life I've even gotten up at 8 a.m. Now, what does that get you? Respect. People respect hard work, and they also want to help people who work hard. Right? Nobody really wants to help lazy people. Right? You think about yourself, like you don't really want to give the handout to the person who always gets the handout in the nicest way. Someone who works hard, that's easy to hop on board with. The fourth thing is thank your parents. So as you're going through your goal sharing, toss in some gratitude to your parents. Why? Because you're probably talking to parents. You're probably talking to a set of parents or a parent. And how often, and think about your own life, your own self. How often are you thanking your parents? Right? Maybe not that, hopefully a little bit more often. Maybe you're not even thankful for your parents, right? But I'm sure you could find something to hold gratitude for. They're the reason you're here. So thank your parents to your customers. How often do you think your customer gets thanked from their kids? Probably not. So it's probably makes them feel good, makes them feel like you're really good or really cool or a really great kid or a really great person. Feel like, hey, I also want to say, I am really thankful for my parents. They've supported me in this. My parents are helping me with school, and I'm really thankful for everything that they've given me. Part of the reason I'm doing this right now as well is to learn some business skills. I've gotten to watch my dad work really hard as an electrician growing up. He can't even walk now because of his knees, because he's worked with his body his whole life. And so that's part of the reason I want to see if business could be my thing, just so I don't have to work with my body. And I'm really grateful that he's shown me what hard work looks like. My mom, same thing. I'm really grateful. She went back to school a couple of times, and she's always just showed me what hard work looks like too. And I'm really grateful for that. So I did just want to say, thank you obviously for your time, but also thank you for, the parent that you are. I'm sure you're, and you're giving me time. I know how much that means. So thank your parents. Throw that in there for sure. Now, the last thing is open them up to buying today. Open them up to buying today. So I'm going to give you a money line, okay? Try to write this down. This is from the great Colleen Dolan, who got it from, I'm sure, someone else, who got it from someone else before that. But here's the money line at the beginning of your demo. All right, Mrs. Jones. And if someone can try to type this as I'm talking and post it in the chat, someone who's like a fast typer, I think that would be helpful. But hey, Mrs. Jones, look, I can't thank you enough for sitting down with me today. My biggest goal is not to sell you $10,000 of Cutco. But if you see some stuff you like, definitely get it today. I can get you a really great deal, and it helps me towards my goals. But again, my biggest goal is not that you buy $10,000 of Cutco. My biggest goal is that we have some fun. And at the end of this thing, you refer me to a couple more people so I can keep showing these appointments. Does that sound good? So you can and why $10,000? It's kind of a strategic amount, because if someone says, hey, my biggest goal is not to sell you $50,000 of Cutco, that's a little bit outrageous, right? People aren't necessarily going to believe that they're going to buy $50,000 of Cutco. But if you say $10,000, it's actually kind of believable, because people understand high quality kitchen stuff is expensive. So you can say, hey, Mrs. Jones, look, my biggest goal today, it's not to sell you $10,000 of Cutco. My biggest goal is that we have some fun. And if you see some stuff you like, definitely get it today, because I can get you a great deal because I'm in my fast start, and it helps me a ton towards my goals. But my biggest goal, it's not that you buy a bunch of Cutco. My biggest goal is that we have a bunch of fun. And by the end of this thing, you refer me to a couple more people so I can keep showing. Does that sound good? We have some fun. And if you have fun, you refer me to a couple people. If you like some stuff, you can get it. We'll get you a good deal. Right? Nice. Thank you. Dane just brought me coffee. Look at that. What a guy. Okay. So that's the fifth and final point. That's the money line. Did anyone capture it and put it in the chat room right there? Otherwise I can try to type it at the end. Now, the last thing I want to say, kind of a bonus right here, is I want to say why this is also important. Why is goal sharing important? Because goal sharing can be the reason that your customer buys Cutco today. Okay. Nobody will buy Cutco just because it's you showing it to them. Does that make sense? Now, you knowing them gets you the appointment. That is for sure the truth. But to make a sale, whether you're selling a car, a knife set, a house, an insurance clause, like no matter what you're selling, you only need 3 things. So I want you to understand this. You need trust in you as the salesperson. You need trust in the product that you're selling, that it's going to serve them. And you need trust in the company, that it's a reliable company. They're going to back this product. So what do you automatically get when you know somebody? You get to cross off the first one because they already trust you. What's great with that is that's usually the hardest barrier to making a sale. Who here has been like at the state fair and there's this really cool ShamWow. ShamWow blows your mind with this presentation. You're like, that product is awesome. But you're like, but that slick talking salesman back there, I don't really know. Then you walk away. The hardest one to usually get is the trust in the salesperson, but you automatically get that. Now, that's not the reason that they're going to buy Cutco at all. Cutco sells itself, right? The other 2, trust in the product and the company, those are easy. Forever guaranteed. You've seen the videos. I see head nods, right? Cuts a penny. 1949. Like those are easy ones. But the reason that they buy it today is because of your goals. Now, who here has a dream car or truck? Like you have a dream vehicle that they want to get someday. Anybody? I see hands up. Rihanna, Pete. Pete, I feel like I know what yours is. You told me one time. But you have a dream vehicle, right? And in your head, you're like, well, I'm going to get that car someday. Like someday, for me, it's a Tesla. I really want a all black Tesla. I think it'd be the coolest thing ever. And for me, I'm like, well, I'm going to have a Tesla someday. Not right now, but like someday I will. Your customers are the exact same way with nice kitchen stuff or nice stuff in general, especially Cutco. So for them, it's like, well, you know, at the end of your presentation, you might have heard this. Well, yeah, we might get it someday, just not, you know, right now is not the right time. Then you're like, oh, okay, trying to find the objection handle for that, right? The point is like everyone thinks they'll get it because it's the best product ever made, especially for their kitchen. The reason that they buy it today is because it literally helps you today. So you probably recognize this too. There's never a right time. You could always find a reason for something to be the wrong time, but you, with your goals, you create the right time for the customer. And the right time is today because it helps you today. Does that make sense? Yeah, I see head nods. That's awesome. Okay. So passionately share your goals with those 5 things. Remember, share past success, your dollar amount, goal, how hard you've been working, thank your parents, and then open them up to buying today by taking the pressure off of them. The other thing that I'll show really quick is we had Jared Erickson made this slideshow. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I'll drop this link in the chat. If you want to copy it, you definitely can. Right here. Okay, so what Jared did, he took all those points, those bullet points that I talked about, and he just put them on like a Google slideshow that he shared with his customer before the presentation. And you can do that too, and it'd be really easy, and it doesn't have to be super professional. So I'm going to just show you Jared here. Okay, this is like a little bit ago. Okay, so look at this. So he had pictures of himself, and then he talked about where he's going to school, what he likes to do, right? His sister. Here's gratitude for his mom, right? Remember the gratitude to the parents? His grandpa, who was like a father figure to him. And then he talked about the job. And notice how simple this slideshow is. I think that's actually, it's like kind of cute like that. And then here, look at this, past success, fast start, what he's working towards, a trip to Cabo. So you could put in yours, like if you're going for 10K, throw a picture of the Cabo rocks in there, and then a current thermometer, and then big cheesy smiley face. Remember, we started this Champs with gratitude. I think that's how you can start and end every goal sharing. It's with some gratitude. So does everyone see how you could put that together on a slideshow like that, kind of tap through for your customer? Awesome. Okay, and your manager might have a little template for you. So if you want to ask your manager, hey, do you have a goal sharing template? They probably can find you one that you can copy. Okay, that's it. Good luck. Share those goals passionately. Make it the right time today. And for anyone in your fast start, you have like 5 minutes to go get yourself some coffee or something. Then Dane is taking over for the biggest 2 hours of your week right here with advanced training. So, okay, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being on.